What's up, my squabians? Today I am ranking my top 5 players in the NFL in 2019. The NFL Top 100 Players was just voted on by the NFL players. I disagree with their list. I'm gonna give you mine in just a minute, but first leave in the comment section below what order you would put your top 5 players in the NFL last year. We're gonna get into mine right now. Okay, so first overall, the players voted Lamar Jackson. I put Russell Wilson ahead of Lamar. Couple reasons why. Yes, Lamar Jackson was flashy. He had a couple more highlight plays per se than Russell Wilson did. He had more embarrassing plays, more flashy plays that players and fans might look at and think, okay, that's the most dominant player in the NFL. Not the case. The Baltimore Ravens had double-digit Pro Bowlers last year. The Seattle Seahawks had 2. One of them was Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson elevated the Seattle Seahawks and consistently does so to a level that they shouldn't be at. Russell Wilson, in my opinion, has saved Pete Carroll's career to this point. Lamar Jackson has an offense that was completely built around his skill sets. Seattle's offense is built away from Russell Wilson. We want to run the football and trust our defense. You're not supposed to do that when you have a top 2 quarterback in the NFL at least. Lamar Jackson has never won a playoff game, and every time he gets there, he gets punched in the face, falls behind, and is completely unable to come back because he can't run on people anymore. Russell Wilson can beat people on the ground and in the air, which is more than you can say for Lamar Jackson, at least come playoff time. Name me the sport around the world, the competition where one player or one team or one person can just dominate the entire time, is born great at it, and never faces any adversity, never has to overcome anything, and still is successful. You can't. Even the strongest man in the world has lost a competition before, and he wasn't born with that strength. He had to build it up. So there were times throughout his life where he was not the strongest man in the world. Usain Bolt has lost races. Last year, the NFL's equivalent to a perfect season. The 49ers were doing phenomenal, go to the playoffs, dominate everyone throughout their playoff run in the NFC, blowing teams out, then get to the Super Bowl. As soon as they fall behind, they get punched in the face, they lose the Super Bowl. They don't know how to respond, they don't know how to react, because every single team on their way to a Super Bowl faces some form of adversity. It's unrealistic to think that Baltimore is going to be able to run over everyone all the way to the Super Bowl championship. At some point, they're going to face adversity, and every time that they do, Lamar Jackson does not answer the bell. He falls behind, he shrivels up. The guys around Russell Wilson look to Russell Wilson like, okay, how are we going to win this game? The guys around Lamar Jackson are looking at him like, okay, when is this over? That's the difference. That's why Russell Wilson's number 1 on my list. Why I put Russell Wilson ahead of Patrick Mahomes? I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be a better quarterback than Russell Wilson down the very near future. But if you put Russell Wilson in that Patrick Mahomes Andy Reid offense with all those weapons, Russell Wilson is even better than Patrick Mahomes as of right now, because Russell Wilson has the experience and he's seen more defenses. He's better at the line of scrimmage adjusting plays, whereas Patrick Mahomes just hasn't seen all those defenses yet, doesn't have as much experience in the NFL. That's why Russell Wilson is ahead of Patrick Mahomes. But that, in my opinion, is going to change down the road here in the future when Patrick Mahomes gets more experience. Number 2 on my list, that's where I put Patrick Mahomes. I'm not putting Lamar Jackson ahead of Patrick Mahomes for some of the same reasons that I put Russell Wilson ahead of Lamar Jackson, because Patrick Mahomes is never out of a ball game. 3 straight games in the playoffs where he had a 10+ point comeback, including one game where after not scoring in the first quarter, he still put over 50 points on the board, including something like 7 straight touchdown drives with Kansas City last year. Lamar Jackson, like I said, yet to win a playoff game. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champion, regular season MVP. Mahomes was within a coin flip in overtime and a D Ford offsides of getting to the Super Bowl his first year starting, and his second year he won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson, at least for right now. Number 3 on my list, that's where I put Lamar. Yes, he had the best rushing season of any quarterback ever last year and still led the NFL in passing touchdowns throughout the regular season. He got about half of those stats against Miami in week 1. He's very flashy, he's a lot of fun to watch, he's super exciting, but he still has a lot to build in terms of his passing of the football. Once teams shut down the run, he's unable to pass, and that's the problem for me. When the run's working, everything looks great, business is booming. But when he's unable to run, he's unable to pass, that's the problem. You're gonna face adversity, you're gonna fall behind, you gotta be able to come back. He is unable to do so to this point in his career. Number 4 on my list, that's where I put Christian McCaffrey. Let me tell you guys about this guy, Christian McCaffrey. 2,392 yards from scrimmage last season in the NFL. That is the most this millennium outside of 2009 when CJ2K Chris Johnson had his ridiculous 2,006-yard rushing season, which at the time put him at 5th all-time in terms of rushing yards in a single season. Outside of that, Christian McCaffrey has the most this millennium, including 2012 Adrian Peterson's MVP season where he became 2nd all-time, only less than 10 yards behind Eric Dickerson's all-time single season rushing record, Adrian Peterson still had less yards from scrimmage that year than Christian McCaffrey did last year. Adrian Peterson also had more help. Christian Ponder was quarterback for those Vikings. He passed for 18 touchdowns, almost 3,000 yards that year. This past season for the Carolina Panthers, they had 3 starting quarterbacks, including Will Grier, who sucked. Kyle Allen led the NFL in sack yards lost last year, and he didn't even start all the games. Christian McCaffrey is also playing, at this point, even more than in 2012, a dying position in the NFL. The last couple guys that tried to get paid ended up holding out. And then after they held out, they lost money. Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. The running back position is dying in the NFL. And Christian McCaffrey still reset the market, getting paid $16 million in a dying position by revolutionizing it and being able to catch passes and being extremely versatile the way that he is. Christian McCaffrey had the most all-purpose yards without even returning kicks, which is the main way that people get on this list since 2011, Darren Sproles. McCaffrey had an outstanding season, blew everyone else out of the market, and absolutely dominated his position, was in the MVP conversation as a running back, which is extremely impressive. Christian McCaffrey, number 4 on my list. Number 5, that's where I put Aaron Donald, only 12.5 sacks last year. I wish Seattle could have a guy that only had 12.5 sacks last year, as if that was a down year. That's more than 3 times what our leading sack getter had last season in Rasheem Green. Aaron Donald had 20.5 the year before, fell down to 12.5. Defenses are even more focusing on him than the year before. Defenses are triple teaming him, double teaming him every single play. He's not getting a clean look. He's an interior lineman and he's a pass rusher where he shouldn't be able to put up the numbers that he's putting up, but he's still very successful in doing so. Why? Because he's the 5th best player in the NFL, most dominant defensive player in the NFL, disrupts plays, offenses have to scheme away from him. But last year he didn't have the production that he did the year before. Christian McCaffrey blew it out of the water. That's why I put Christian McCaffrey ahead of Aaron Donald just slightly. So once again, my top 5 players: number 1, Russell Wilson; number 2, Pat Mahomes; number 3, Lamar Jackson; number 4, Christian McCaffrey; number 5, Aaron Donald. Be sure to leave in the comment section below what order you would put your top 5 players from 2019. As always, go Cougs.